I just wanted to talk about some mounting related issues concerning the Bulldog valve robot. So we support from 1/2 inch all the way up to 1.5 inch with the standard bracket set, and 1.5 inch is large. Typically the home will have a 3/4 inch or maybe a 1 inch is typical, but we go up to the higher sizes. There are some applications where they have commercial, industrial, and just larger homes may have a 1.5 inch type valve. This is a 1.5 inch solder type valve, and the valves come in different types. So there's solder type where I guess you push the copper pipe in and you braze it or solder it. And there's threaded compression type, there's crimp compression type, there's just threaded where you put sealing tape on the threads, and even for the same types of threaded there's different types. So we had to come up with a bracket set that supports all these different types, and we have the first style bracket set, which is still in use, works for most valves, but we're just introducing a new style that removes the clamp, and it's going to support more sizes and styles. In fact, just about everything I have on this table, which is probably 99% of the applications out there. The new bracket set will include one for what we call large valves, which are 3/4 to 1 inch, and a second slightly larger bracket that will go to 3/4 threaded up to 1.5 inch threaded. Alright, so that's the two bracket types. So when you're mounting, actually I'll just mention this, we've actually tested it in terms of torque up to a 2-inch valve, but at this point we're only recommending the largest size is 1.5 inch, because it's kind of on the edge with the 2-inch valve, but it does well with all the other sizes. So first, I just want to note that our bracket mounting design only uses the valve itself for the mounting. It doesn't mount on the pipe on either side. If you mount your motor assembly in such a way that it's holding the pipe on one side and grabbing the arm on the other, that's where you could cause some stress in here. We don't think that's a good idea in terms of plumbing regulations or safety, and it's more likely to cause a leak than the way we mount, which is directly on the valve, only on the valve. All right, that. So now I'm just going to show how you mount it on the valve. All right, so we're going to use a 1-inch solder type valve. And this bracket is designed to work for multiple valve sizes because of the way we make this special curve, the Vance curve. And it's designed with a shoulder here to slide up against this 8-sided collar, but not over top of. All right, so I'm just going to put it like so, handle on it now, and you can see it's just leaning against the 8-sided collar. All right, so I'm going to line it up a bit here. And of course you'll be doing this while it's on the plumbing, so it might be easier, it might be more difficult, but make an adjustment before I really tighten it up so I can, make sure it's centered. All right, so it's sometimes a little hard to tell, but that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to leave it like that, maybe give it a couple more turns just to keep it steady, and I'll do one more tightening once I have the whole thing together. Okay, and then I shuffle this forward until I get the pivots points even, and that looks pretty good there. All right, before I completely tighten it, I'm going to just check the alignment again. The center points should be centered. The pivot point should be centered and even. So I'm going to just make sure that it is. That looks pretty good. So now I'll tighten this one up a little bit more. I'm going to tighten the two sides up. Everything else looks pretty good. So let's plug her in to the control module. And by the way, the control module uses a standard PS2 connector. And you can extend this away, which is a good idea for some installations if the valve's under the cottage, or if the valve's anywhere where it's awkward to get a hold of. And you could extend this up to 50 feet, so you could have this module, 50 feet away. If your valve's in the basement or underneath the cottage or the house, you can just pull this wire up and mount this someplace conveniently, and then you can open and close it with the button on here if you need to. You can see everything's even and centered, and it's got no problem turning this 1-inch solder type valve. You can see it opens all the way, and let's just watch the close stroke one more time. So I got the pins adjusted. And it's closing all the way. And that's it.